Hey everybody, I'm Ted from Tebex. In this tutorial we are looking at Dynmap. This is a Google Maps style map for your Minecraft server. In today's tutorial we will set up another world using Multiverse. We will then set up a world border. We will fully render the world and then we can use Dynmap to look at the world. We will see the world border and we can even see the live locations of players. You can set it up in different ways. This could be a very powerful tool for moderators or admins. This could also be a nice layer on top of everything that is happening on the server for players to use. Since today's tutorial uses a lot of different plugins, we're going to keep it fairly basic. Once everything is set up and working, it's then up to you to dive into the individual plugins, look at all the configuration options that you have, and then configure it exactly how you want to. Looking at our plugins folder, we can see we have Dynmap, Multiverse, and World Border. Those are the three main things that we will be using setting this up. I'm already connected to my server. As you can see, I have two clients open. On the left is my admin account. Here I can fly. I was able to fly earlier. Here I can fly. And also I have the textures so you can see the difference. And on the right, I have a non-textured account and this is a normal player. So let's create a world using Multiverse. So let's do Multiverse create, then the world name, so my world, and then what world type. So in my case, normal. We can also do nether or the end. And this will create a world called my world. And let's wait a moment for it to finish. And it's highly recommended to do this while there are no players online. And there it says complete. So now we can see if we do Multiverse list, we can see that my world is in the list. So let's Multiverse teleport to my world. And here we can see that we are now in that world. And let's set up a world border. WB for world border. If you press enter, you will see all the available commands. And you can also do WB2 to go to the second page. And there are 5 pages of commands. Let's just go back to the first one. Let's first of all do world border set. And then let's set a radius of 100. And now any direction, it should have made a border of 100. You can set this border in several different ways. You can either use the spawn point or your player as a position. The way we did it, it will just use the player position and then go from there in either direction. So now if I try to run this way, we should eventually hit a border and it should teleport us back a little bit. I think we are gonna hit it any moment now. Yeah, there we go. So you can see we get teleported a little bit. And you can change that behavior inside of the config file. So we got our border. What I want to do, I want to change the shape. So I'm going to say WB shape, and then let's do round. And it says the default shape for all worlds is currently set to round. So now let's actually fill up the complete world. So let's do world border, my world, and then let's do fill. And as you can see, it says fill world to border. And we need to confirm this. This is a pretty heavy action. And while this is going on, we can see on Dynmap, we should go to our IP address and then 8123. So if I go there, you can see that I get a map that I can move just like on Google Maps or any online map that you are familiar with. And there's a player here. And if we go to the right, we have more options. We can see multiple players and we can also see multiple worlds. So we can see my world. If we click here, we can see that circle and we can also see our player location. If this map is going to work or not really depends on if your server is allowing you to have extra ports. If you're hosting this locally, you will need to port forward your server, Google port forward, and then follow those instructions. If you're using a hosting company, they might have that option built directly into the portal. You might need to request it through support or it might not be possible at all. If you cannot figure it out, contact the support of your hosting company. Since I have a dedicated server, it's literally as easy as dropping in the plugin and it will automatically work. If you want to use your domain and have a proper secured connection, it does require a little bit more configuration, but this is definitely possible. It says fill task successfully completed for my world. So let's now trim the world. So let's do world border. Trim. We can do this because we are in the world that we want to trim. You can also specify the world inside of the command. And once again, we need to do trim confirm. And now it trimmed everything outside of the world. For this to properly update in here, we need to go and restart our server. So we are back inside of our server. Let's make sure that we are still inside of my world. And then let's do Dynmap, full render. Let's just do my world in general. But as you can see, there are different surfaces. I'm just going to do my world in general, and I will show you what those surfaces mean in a little bit. And then press enter. How long this will take really depends on the map size and also how powerful your server is. This took about 5 minutes. You can see it's now done with flat, and it's now moving on to the surface map. So while this is still going on, let's go and have a look at our Dynmap configuration. So if you don't know where this is in your plugins folder. Then go into the Dynmap folder and then inside of configuration.txt. The current setting is set to high res. Your server might not be strong enough to support this. You can just change this to low res, or even if you want very low res. For other options, take a look at the Dynmap documentation. You are also able to connect this up to a database. This should also improve the performance of the website. There are a lot of permissions, so using lock perms, you can set this up exactly how you want to and make sure that the correct people can see the correct maps and also have the right options. So even though it's still going on, I'm going to cancel it for now. So I'm going to say Dynmap, cancel render. And let's take a look at the website. If we take a look, we can see here, we're still working on getting it fully round. And we can see our play area or our playable world border in the middle. But what I haven't showed you yet is the different surfaces. So if we click on surface here, it's not fully completed. But you can see we get a 3D representation of the world, including the player location. So this is really cool, especially if you have multiple people running around in a fairly large world. And then lastly, you also have the caves, and you can see all the underground cave systems. It's a little bit difficult to really see what is going on. If you let it complete, of course, it will look even better. It's really cool that you have those different options and you have different worlds that you can switch between. So this is the nether. Let's take a look at the nether in 3D. And we also have our world where our other player is. We can also look at that in 3D. As you can see, we can see that we are standing on that little structure that I built to be safe from all the monsters that will shoot me for sure. Let's put it on the other side. You can see that if I actually start walking and moving around, that this starts moving as well. There you go. So it is actually live updating what is going on and where players are. So I can see that there are some resources in front of me, and this is indeed correct. So I think this is really, really cool. There are also several add-ons that you can use to add more layers of information. Of course, this completely depends on what kind of server you're running, but you could show like homes or claimed areas or grief prevention areas. So if you're running some sort of town or factions or stuff like that, depending, of course, on the rules and what kind of server it is, it could be really interesting for players or otherwise definitely for admin or moderators to be able to have Dynmap working. If you have a specific configuration or specific question about Dynmap, let us know. We might be able to answer it for you in the comments. Or if it can help a lot of people, we can make a follow-up tutorial. If you want to add portals between the worlds that you created and also set permissions of who is allowed to enter those portals, take a look at our previous Multiverse tutorials. If you're not done watching yet, you can click here on the right for our latest release or on the left for something that we think suits you best. If you think I want even more, of course, feel free to subscribe. This way you will be notified when we release new content every Friday. And as always, thank you for watching and good luck with your Tebex store.